Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Egg and Baby in the morning. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. I would describe her current appearance, you know, the look on her face, questioning, quizzical. I would not describe her as nonplussed. I would say, if anything, she's a little plussed. You okay? You okay? It's a little chilly over here. Let me make sure. Yeah, we put the blanket on you. We put the blanket on you. And then she just kicks her legs and kicks it off. I don't really know what that's all about. Anyway. I mean, I like to kick my legs too. I understand. Like, especially when I was younger, I'd kick my legs in bed all the time. Good, Samson. I don't want to be Azazel. It's Stolen Valor. GQWB3WHZ. Feeling good here. Thank you for asking. It is now a Tuesday. Last time I recorded was on a Sunday. It's been a bit of a busy baby week. No appointments or anything like that, but the baby is, you know, she's a little high maintenance lately, which is, you know, to be expected. You know, I think when you call another adult high maintenance, I don't know, like, people take offense to it. It's not like I go around, you know, trying to offend people. I'm not one of those people who, like, tells it like it is, and then, you know, or they think they tell it like it is, because that's, like, what all jerks, I think, believe in their head, is, like, I'm the only person who's, like, saying what they're really thinking. I don't think that's the case. But, you know, so I'm trying to say I don't go around calling people high maintenance. But I remember in high school, a friend of mine asked me if I thought she was high maintenance. And I said, yeah, I think you're pretty high maintenance. And she was, like, really upset. And I was like, well, I thought it was, like, a good thing. I thought it was, like, you know, like a sports car. Or like a Formula 1 car. It's high maintenance because it's high performance. Low maintenance is like, I don't know, do you really want to be? I say maybe you do, but like a mid-2000s Honda Civic, more power to you. That's kind of like this my style as far as automobiles go. But like, I didn't think it was, you know, offensive in a uniform sense. But anyway, that's how I do it. I mean, I'm high maintenance in some ways. I mean, like, or maybe not high maintenance. Let's call me a gas guzzler. I require a lot of caloric intake, but I don't get my oil changed too much. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with being high maintenance necessarily. I don't, you know, low maintenance is great as well. Don't get me wrong. That, you know, the kind of person who's like, you know, I mean, low maintenance could be good or bad, right? You could be like, hey, you want to go on a road trip? They'll be like, sure, I'm ready right now. You're like, you sure you don't want to brush your teeth first? It's like an 8-hour drive. You sure you don't want to, you know, maybe like just splash some water on your face? Maybe put some deodorant on? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But, you know, some people, they're just good to go at a moment's notice. I want to try to get to 5 cents so that possibly we can get an arcade. Early Samson arcade, it's going to change the game. Now, this is a bit of a whiff. If we have to, if it seems prudent, we could blow up the statue. But honestly, I'm just out of here, I think. I don't think we're getting to 5 cents. I don't think the capability to get to 5 cents exists on that floor. Hello, baby. But yeah, when I call the baby high maintenance, I mean, like, if anything, a low maintenance baby would be kind of alarming. Moreover, I think we actually have, like, by baby standards, a low maintenance baby. She sleeps, you know, pretty cleanly, pretty evenly throughout the night. But, you know, during the day, she cries whenever she's hungry. You can't hold a baby to adult standards for that. If I was hanging out with, like, another 32-year-old, and every time they got hungry, they shed a tear, I would be like, I mean, I would be annoyed. I'm not gonna, you know, deny my truth on that one. But I would also be like, we gotta, like, get you in therapy. That's, like, not normal, you know? Like, I'm not saying, you know, stop it and, like, smacking you with a newspaper or something like that. But we gotta, like, you gotta talk to somebody about that. You can't be openly weeping every time you're hungry. You know, it's embarrassing. You're gonna be in, like, board meetings or something like that, and you know, you get tears pouring down your face, and you're like, what the heck? We were just talking about share buybacks. What's... My father was killed by a share buyback. Anyway, I don't know. There's no punchline there. Let's move on. I'm very happy, of course, to get Little Brim. We're going to get a nice little beat on a deal with the devil. As of right now, does not appear to be, you know, really like a Samson-focused run. It's more of just like, you know, just your classic little Isaac run right here, where we got good damage already. You know, Samson starts with an 11 rate of fire. It's well worth the cost, or the cost is well worth the benefit that you get, I should say. But still, I'm like, come on, you couldn't have just given him 10? Couldn't have just started him on 10, especially because there's no tiers upgrades remaining in the game anymore? Definitely will take Guppy's head. We got plenty of HP to make it work. But yeah, I'm doing well. Feel like, you know, videos and streams have been good this week. Got to play some more Valheim with Malfinsips instead of playing it solo. Doesn't Malfinsips sound like a governor of like a Bavarian town? This is like I don't know what the word for governor is in German. I feel like I'm kind of like, am I opening myself up to a joke here? Like, I expect people are gonna be like, ah, yes, it is governor. We made the word. You know, okay, sure, fair enough. Look, I'm not trying to say... Nobody talks more crap about it, the English language, than me. It's very stupid, but... you know, my name is Governor Malfinsips. Trying to put on a warmer tone of the accent, but it just sounds menacing, I think, because of the fact that, you know, there were, like, you know, generations of American cinema where whenever anybody spoke with a German accent, you were like... You know, oh, we gotta watch out for this guy. He's gonna try to, like, you know, find the Ark of the Covenant or something like that. It's not fair. The accent typing is very weird in movies, right? Like, you ever wonder the damage that's been done to, like, the perception of the American Southern accent by the constant portrayal of people from the American South in American films? Where it's always like, you know, some city slicker from Connecticut, like, moves to Alabama, and there's, like, you know, they drive by a roadside food stand where somebody's eating a squirrel. Like, it's a little messed up. I'm not saying that people don't eat squirrels, you know, every part of the buffalo. I'm just saying, you know, just because of Reese Witherspoon movies. I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know enough about Reese Witherspoon, baby, is really what it comes down to. I'm kind of the generation that, you know, popularized Reese Witherspoon. I got nothing against her. I really think Election is an amazing movie. I know I've talked about it more than once recently. But I think Election is a fantastic movie. Hey, baby. You can't watch it yet. There's a lot of... I mean, it's rated minimum PG-13. It might be R. There's some sensitive stuff in it, for sure. That was one of the movies I remember I watched, like, on the movie channel with my mom. I think it came out in, like, 1998 or 1999, so I was probably, like, 11 or 12 by the time it got to the movie channel. And I felt like I was getting away with something when I watched it. I was like, oh, she didn't know there was gonna be kissing in this movie, and then... How do you handle that, by the way? I don't watch a lot of movies with my parents anymore. And I'm, you know, I got a kid of my own, so I think, you know, me and my parents were kind of on the level. we understand that, you know, it's not that we haven't seen before, but it's always kind of, I think you can learn a lot about somebody's family situation by seeing how they react to watching a movie with their parents when an intimate scene comes on. I think like most kids, you know, I covered my eyes for a while, or my parents covered my eyes. I think that's very normal, and there's a lot of stuff, you know, like, I consider myself an idiosyncratic person, for sure. I'm not trying to stunt and say, like, I was normal in all ways as a child. I think, you know, I was normal in some ways and little unusual in others. It's the plight of an only child, you know? When you're acting weird as an only child, the weirdness has a tendency to go unchecked because you don't have, like, you know, an older sibling that is going like, what the heck are you doing? Stop it. it's just you and books. You know, the personality's growing unabated. But I think, you know, like, if you if you're one of those kids, and we all knew kids like this, some of you probably were those kids, but if they, like, didn't cover their eyes when they were, like, 6, and they were like, yeah, you're like, whoa, that's a little... You're not supposed to be having, like, any kind of enjoyment out of this at age 6, but then some of those kids ended up having, like, a mustache by the time they got to 4th grade, so I don't really know how that happens. It's, you know, I guess everybody gets hit with the puberty cocktail at, like, a different age, but, I would say I was more in the, you know, around the mean. I was in the middle of the bell curve when it comes to that sort of stuff. Not that, you know, anybody really cares, I suppose. But, you know, until I was probably, like, you know, maybe 8 or 9, maybe I covered my eyes, or, you know, if a movie was a little bit too risque in that sense, my parents would just be like, you know, you should not watch the rest of this. I was into bowling as a kid. I was in a bowling league, and I remember my parents rented The Big Lebowski. And because they, you know, there's bowling in this movie. Plus, hey, it's got John Goodman, plus that weird-looking guy we like, who went on, of course, to become Steve Buscemi. Okay, if you'll just not take so much damage, please. No offense, Mr. Buscemi. Okay, okay. I mean, again, it's a, you know, those in glass houses. You know, it's also a little weird looking to go bald when you're still, legally speaking, a teenager. Anyway, but, you know, hey, you're above that, man. You don't need to throw insults like that. I was just a little kid. But we rented The Big Lebowski, and the movie essentially opens with, Jeff Bridges getting the crap kicked out of him, and then a bunch of guys, like, peeing on his rug, and then I think he gets like a roach clip and starts smoking an illicit type of grass. And then my parents were like, yeah, I don't think you should watch this. And I was like, good. It's boring anyway. And it hasn't even been like a single... Jim Carrey hasn't made a funny face the whole time. That was what I was into back then. Then I think, you know, when you get to be like 10, 11, 12, etc., just kind of like, you know, I wasn't going like, oh, let's go. But I was just kind of like, you know, it is what it is. But I remember, I've told this story before, but we were watching Pearl Harbor in geography class. Don't ask. It's a whole different story right there. Pretty sure that we hired our geography teacher in 9th grade basically just because they would be a great coach for the volleyball team. So maybe not the best educator. Unless you're learning how to set and spike a canvas ball. I don't know what a volleyball is made out of. Something weird. It's like made out of old bandages or something. And I remember there's a scene where like Kate Beckinsale and Josh Hartnett are making out. And remember, there's a kid in our class who just went, ugh, and covered his eyes, and then, like, buried his head in his desk. And I'm like, brother, we're in 9th grade, man. You gotta, you gotta be able to look at this stuff. Not to mention, like, you know, this is a PG-13 movie, you know. It's not, they're not going much further than, you know, stepping up to the plate. Baby, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about, okay? She's like, I want to see Pearl Harbor. No, you don't want to. Look, it's really not very good, okay? It's borderline American propaganda, like for one. Like it's almost like the film version of that Toby Keith song where he goes, you know, we'll put a boot in your butt is the America way. But then on top of that, like. You know, it's just not a well-made film, and it's Michael Bay. Like, I think you could make, like, a really good movie about, you know, the events of December 7th, 1941. A day that will live in infamy. However, Michael Bay is not the guy to do it. You know what he made after he made Pearl Harbor? Pearl Harbor came out in about 2001. I don't remember what he made in, like, 2003. But in 2004-ish, he made The Island, which was okay. Not great, but okay. And then he went on to make 17 different Transformers films. That's not the guy you want handling, you know, an event that has some gravitas associated with it. You know, you don't want that. You want maybe like, okay, well, I was gonna say David Fincher, but David Fincher is more of like, I think he's skilled at showing, you know, unease and anxiousness and stuff like that. Not so much like, you know what you want for something like a Pearl Harbor movie? You want Steven Spielberg, okay? You want, you know, Mr. Saving Private Ryan, Mr., you know, The Pacific on HBO and stuff like that. You want Steven Spielberg for that one. You don't want Denis Villeneuve. You certainly don't want Michael Bay. That's the... She's like, oh my god, literally I'm, you know, not even 5 months old yet. I'm already sick of this guy. Anyway, get me out of here. Run is going just fine. I mean, as soon as you get Satanic Bible, you can pretty much put a fork in it. And, to you as well, baby. But this was all, like, a roundabout way of suggesting, you know? Like, just because a baby's high maintenance is not a bad thing, you know? A baby is meant to be high maintenance. A low maintenance baby is, by adult standards, is kind of scary, you know? A high maintenance baby, you're like... I mean, honestly, there's something to like about, you know, a member of your family who wears their needs on their sleeve as openly as a baby does. I've talked about this before. One of the reasons that, like, you know, my wife and I get along so well, one of the reasons our relationship works so well is that, you know, I kind of grew up that, like, you never really say what you're feeling. Instead, you just, like, if you're discontented, you just, like, you know, shove it down inside for years and years and years. And then, you know, it comes out in Anecdote St. Isaac videos, I suppose, or... I don't know, but it's like a very old school mentality, right? My parents aren't really like that, but my grandparents are, and I spent a lot of time with them growing up. So you know, I'm very well versed in the idea of, like, you know, what do you want for dinner? And then in your head you're thinking, like, you know, oh, fish and chips. And then, but instead of saying fish and chips, you say, I don't know, what do you want? And in their head they're like, fish and chips. But they don't say that. They say, I don't know, it's your turn to pick. And then, you know, you both want fish and chips, but nobody says it. Somehow you end up going out for a chicken Caesar salad. I don't know how it happens, but it happens. Kate is the opposite of that, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. I go up sometimes, and I'm like, what do you want for dinner? And she's like, I want this. And I'm like, okay, let's... Honestly, you pretty much just saved us, like... 45 minutes of, you know, what I'm used to, which is like, you know, around lunchtime, you know, with my family, you start to engage in dinner deliberations. What do you want? Well, you make a good logical case. We did have something heavy last night. We probably shouldn't have something heavy again. But no, we can't get sushi because last night there was fish on the menu of the restaurant that we went to, so we can't have fish adjacent foods too tight. Like, it becomes like, you know, you're trying to find like the exact midpoint or something like that. A baby is kind of like that, this is a tough one, but I think you gotta stick with Satanic, man. A baby is kind of like it embodies that as well, right? Like, a baby does not just chill most of the time. You know, if she's crying, she's not crying because, like, of something that happened, you know, like 6 months ago. I think, at least. I don't know. I'm not a baby translator, but, you know, you'll be like, why are you crying? And you expect, like, a complicated answer. She's gonna be like, look at my diaper, dummy. I crap myself. Again. It happens all the time. Right, baby? I think it's good. I think more people should embody the... I mean, like... It's... If you call someone a baby, it's kind of an insult, but I also think, like, I don't know, there's something to be said for somebody who, like, when they're... discontented, you know, they make their feelings known instead of just like shoving it down inside. I think it's an energy that we could, many people at least, if you're kind of kindred spirits with me, could seek to embody more. Yeah, see? Like, it's not just daddy teaching you things, you're teaching daddy things as well. Maggie's bow, huh? She's looking at it, she's like, I have no idea what you're doing. She has no concept of a microphone, much less the podcast, much less like a YouTube channel. We should have obviously used Two of Diamonds before we bought anything, but it's not really a big deal at this point. She has no idea. Like, to her right now, I don't know. Daddy is probably like he's lost the plot. You know, he's losing his mind. I hear ya. You know, if anything, she has a look of concern. is that true? You have a look of concern? She's smiling. She's like, yeah. Yeah. It's the way, it's an uneasy smile. Yeah, baby. I don't know. This baby is a very weird sleeper. I don't think I've told this story yet. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But we have like a baby monitor that records activity in the room. So, you know, it's actually very helpful. I mean, one of them is like, you know, for prevention's sake, you know, like if it doesn't encounter any, you know, like movement for a while, it goes like, hey, you should go check on the baby. Which you'd think would be alarming, but it's not really, you know, like, most of the time, you know, I'll just take this right here. They're all the same to me. Bomber boy, we have freaking bomber boy scatter bombs, man. That's terrible. But most of the time, you go in and you hear like, and you're like, okay, no, time to we can leave. But it's good for like seeing how the baby slept as well. You get an idea of maybe why they're kind of grumpy the next day if you see them fussing all the time overnight. But there was a really good clip that it captured at like 4:45 a.m. The other day, where she's like flipping around in the bed basically, and she used her foot to kick the button that turns on the mobile, that like, you know, spins around and has a flashing light and stuff like that. And then she woke up, like, startled because she kicked the thing on and it started playing music. But she just sat there, like, enraptured and watched it for 40 minutes until it turned off. And then she started to cry and was like, it's time to wake up. But then we've also, Kate told me, like, you know, one time she was feeding the baby and she got a push alert on her phone that was like, hey, your baby fell asleep. And we're like, what? And then she went into the room, and Tomo had just fallen asleep in the crib. Which, you know, is kind of cute, but you're also like, the cat's not supposed to be in the crib, because, you know, we don't want a bunch of cat fur on the mattress cover and stuff like that. Who knows, you know, cats are clean, but at the same point, I'd rather they didn't sleep in the same bed as our, you know, infant child. Oh, no. Baby. Baby, you've been very good over the course of this. I mean, I don't want to say good, because that, you know, she doesn't understand what I'm saying, but you don't want to be like, oh, just being quiet is good, right? I mean, it's polite, but, you know, I'm not like a children should be seen, not heard sort of guy, you know? I'm like, sometimes you gotta speak your mind. If you got an issue, here's a tissue, but also, I'm happy to hear about it. Oh, oh yeah, this is my favorite song. Sing it, baby. She's like, yeah, it's good. It's good. That's the fuss of a baby who wants some attention, and I assure you she's gonna get it. I think I mentioned it, but she started, like, I mean, for the past month and a half or so, she can hold her head up on her own. Like, she's generating that kind of, like, neck musculature that allows that to happen. And this is a compliment. You're so much more fun to pick up now that you can use 2 hands to hold the baby instead of 1 hand to hold the baby and 1 hand to constantly brace the neck. You can pick her up under the armpits and go like, wee. All right, I'm gonna placate this child for a moment. See you in just a bit here. And we're back. I have no recognizance or memory of what I was talking about. It's been like half an hour. It's okay. It's way of the road. It's the way she goes. Even forgot what buttons on the keyboard do what, but here we go. I do remember now that we had Bomber Boy. It's an item you gotta concern yourself with. You gotta not walk into enemies as well, if possible. And then, you know, maybe, like, don't do it 2 times on the same room as well is something I would prognosticate would be, you know, beneficial for our future chances of success. Anyway, I think things are going pretty well. It's been, it's February. I mean, what do you want to say, you know? February is, it's a bit of a slow month. For the most part. Not a whole lot going on in the world of video games. It's been some good stuff this month. Like, I think I was just talking about it maybe, I don't know, an hour ago, i.e. like 30 seconds before I paused. When I played Valheim solo, I really didn't get it. Well, I shouldn't say that, because I think I understood, like, why people could like it, but I derived very little enjoyment from it personally. But playing it in multiplayer, I actually got it a lot more. You know, kind of like a, oh my god, a shoot the breeze simulator. And, you know, we were really talking, like, I was talking about it with Sips and Malf, and, like, one of my kind of content resolutions for 2021 is if something's not really working, like, not being afraid to cut it a little faster and hopefully give a try to something that is working. And for me, like, RimWorld, I always think RimWorld's a lot of fun. I think it's like one of the best games ever made. I hate this room, dude. Well, kind of did it to myself, huh? But especially when I'm playing with, like, two people who really do know what they're doing, I was pretty much just relegated to being the guy who zooms in and out and also tries to, like, get some banter going. There was, like, a week where every time, you know, I only interacted with the colony, like, once per half hour, and every time I interacted with the colony, somebody died. Now, it's a funny idea in principle, but I was also like, man, I can't help but feel like maybe we should pivot this collaboration, if possible, to something a little bit more, you know, where I can actually feel like I can contribute. And I think Valheim is kind of, it's fit the bill for that right out of the gate, you know? The fact that even as bad as I am at like, Valheim, because I don't really know what I'm doing, at least, like, you know, when I don't have any higher level goal, I can be like, you know what, we're just gonna go punch trees for, like, you know, half an hour. We'll just chop down some trees and, you know, it goes how it goes. So I think it's a wise idea. There's nothing wrong with RimWorld, you know. It's one of those things where you just gotta kind of be, I don't know, a bit of an axeman, I suppose. You know, you gotta do a little bit of a hatchet job. Like, if something's not working in 2017, I would just play it until, you know, my eyeballs fell out of my head. And, you know, the fact that Isaac is still going on is a testament to that level of delusional commitment, I think. In 2021, when time is at such a premium, you know, I still want to do collaborations with Malf and Sips, but, you know, RimWorld's just not, I mean, I think if I did a RimWorld colony solo, I could. And this is not a knock on them at all. It's actually, like, literally the exact opposite. But I think if I did a solo RimWorld colony, I would interact constantly because it would just be, you know, my colony. So if I make mistakes, you know, is my own personal fault and something I can deal with. But, you know, you don't really want to, like, go to somebody else's garden and be like, I'm just going to start doing whatever I want. I think it's better, I think Valheim's a better fit. But anyway, lots of good stuff. You know, games kind of, they come and go. You got to make your own fun with games. When there's no major releases that really fit the bill. Luck Be a Landlord has been a lot of fun as well. I hope people are enjoying watching that. I do think, you know, there's some balance issues with it right now. Like, it's a little bit too easy. And when it gets too easy, you kind of just, like, waltz into the completion, you know? Like, you're kind of, it happens in a lot of roguelites, actually, but, and it's in early access, but, you know, sometimes it's kind of a bad feeling when you know a run is, like, a super win, and all you have to do is literally, like, punch the clock until it's done. I know you might say, like, well, I thought in Isaac, like, you love a one-run. It's true, but in Isaac, you still actually, like, interact. You know, there's still the chance for you to, you know, glorify, you know, and have fun, I guess, just through the joie de vivre of day-to-day execution. In Luck Be a Landlord, you're just pressing a button. However, I'm trying to break the habit of, like, whenever you like something, talking about, you know, the two things you don't like 99% of the time. You know, this is the way everybody talks these days, especially online. It's good, but here's this one little piece of criticism I have about something that I actually think is like a 7 or 8 out of 10. You know, I'm trying to break that sort of culture, mostly because it inhibits me and my mental state in YouTube videos as well, where people are like, great 3-hour-long video, but the next 4 paragraphs are about this one thing that I had an issue with. Now that I'm on the other side, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I think that kind of criticism might actually suck. It reminds me of that Lisa Simpson quote. It's like, Mom, we're in the MTV generation. We never get too high or too low. What's that like? Meh. Anyway. It's good, but I gotta be honest, I've been, you know, when I get a little bit of time, I've been watching some Grand Theft Auto 5 no-pixel streamers. Like Dan just got on the server today. And, man, oh man. I'm jonesing a little bit. There's some stuff there, and I think I talked about it in an earlier Isaac episode. There's some stuff there that I think is maybe a little spicy for sure, but that's a great style of content right there. It makes for some very entertaining streams. Also, like, and from just a software engineering standpoint, the no-pixel server is kind of like an incredible feat. Like, people are, it's got like its own functioning economy. It's got its own like telecommunications network going on. Like, it's kind of amazing what they've done with it. Will I get on to NoPixel? I don't know. I've kind of been biding my time, watching other people play to see how they feel. Maybe Dan could be like a little gateway, a little way for me to get my foot into the door. Plus, they're always looking for new people, right? It's not like there's a lot of demand. I'm joking, of course, but yeah, I don't know. Speaking of just kind of like, you know, biding your time till the end of the episode here, like, just kind of chilling. I don't know why, you know, we got Dadcraft going. Dadcraft's been a lot of fun. We actually built, you know, we finally got on Dadcraft. I paid off the debt of my home, which is awesome, and now I got my own place that I can call my own, even though usually I just sleep at whatever building site I'm on. It was, truth be told, I don't think it's actually that important to have a house in this Minecraft multiplayer server where, you know, as long as one person sleeps, the day passes, or the night passes into the morning. That being said, it you know, feels good to kickstart the economy by proving that a Lannister always pays his debts, you know? Now that we've established, you know, it's like the blockchain. We've established like a single transaction, and that, you know, there's an ability for the economy to function. Maybe we can actually start to, you know, engage in some trade and stuff like that. Figure out where the prices for things are. I know Sips is selling 64 iron for a single diamond. Honestly, that seems like, you know, if you can keep those diamonds on the iron standard, I kind of like the way things are going. But we made a game at the casino, and I was impressed. It's nice, like, you know, I couldn't help but feel... It's almost like it's a different kind of FOMO that, like, you know, in Dadcraft, people were building such amazing stuff, and... You know, I'm not necessarily suggesting that the people on the server have more time to dedicate to Dadcraft than I do, but, like, you know, my kind of, like, streaming philosophy is way more variety forward than the average person's, and sometimes that works for better, and sometimes it works for worse, but... You know, I had a feeling of, like, you know, what's the point of even, like, logging onto the server when, you know, I'm building, like, little cubes in the dirt to try to live in, and other people are like, check it out, I live at the, you know, the Grand Hotel, the Grand Budapest Hotel, sorry. Forgot what it was called. I'm at the Plaza Hotel from Home Alone 2. But then when I actually got going, you know, we made a nice little project at the casino, a game where, you know, you can pay diamonds, and you press a button, the button shoots an egg out of a dispenser, and if it turns into a chicken, you win a little bit of money, right? Like, it's a kind of project I can get behind. And then, of course, we took the margins even a step beyond, and we made it so that the chickens fall into a little pit where they make more eggs for the casino. And now we're talking. Now we're talking. Using every part of the chicken. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, I've been spinning my wheels kind of conversationally here after we talked about, you know, Pearl Harbor in geography class. But that's what's on my agenda for the week, is stream more games, play more video games. That's on the agenda for this week. I will say, and you'll laugh at this, you'll be like, and don't think that this is a Canadian school thing. This is literally like just the high school that Malf and I went to, and maybe some other, you know, less than scholastic marvels out there. I watched the movie Dumb and Dumber in 2 different classes in high school. I watched it in 9th grade geography just because our teacher ran out of ideas for what to teach. And I watched it in 10th grade French class. I don't know. It's just like, you know, when you're at a school like that, you deal with what you got. We got one French VHS copy of Dumb and Dumber. We got one French VHS copy of Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Watch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Northernlion. I am live every day but Saturday, 11 to 4 Pacific. Come get a taste, and I'll see you next time. See ya!